Hi, you guys, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to this very special pick a card session. This is special because it is actually a request by one of my moderators and a supporter. So, this is actually a request by a supporter of mine, a very nice friend of mine who's been with us since 2014. So, she's been there for a long time supporting me and the channel and all of you guys in turn. And so she has a question for us to ask, and that is, can I trust my intuition on this situation? So I thought I would do like a special pick a card where not only are we going to have three options to answer, but also we will sorry, do some talk about crystals. So I'll give you guys some tips about crystals that may be good for you, or maybe you want to consider when you are working with your intuition, trying to figure out if something is right for you. I'll also show you guys, I'll show you guys how a pendulum works also, because I think people who watch this video will also be curious about that. So let's get into it. If somebody wants to do time caps, that would be great. All of your comments are awesome. If you are curious about my incense, I buy very high quality incense that are usually with a purpose. They're usually not just for smell, and they usually are made from natural ingredients. My little tip for people that I kind of came up with recently is that when you buy stick incense, you can get these little incense holders, and I can't really show you at this point, but you can see that little disc in the center. It has a hole in the middle. I break the incense in half, and I actually use only half the stick. I find that the whole stick is really heavy on my lungs, and it's not really giving any extra benefit. Plus you save money because you only have to buy half as many amounts. So hopefully you guys are excited about this. And I also have a lapis. This is my favorite lapis. A friend of mine polished this, and it's such a beautiful piece. One day in the sunshine I'll show you guys, because then you can see the gold flecks. Little fun fact, there's a crystal called sodalite, which is blue and white, and the difference between sodalite and lapis is that it has these little specks, and I think it's pyrite in it. So lapis is just sodalite with little specks of silver compound. And so I have also scolasite here, and at the end, right at the end, what we can do is really cut through situations, and I'll be happy to do that for you guys again. So why don't we begin? Where did we want to start? Let's do the pick a card first. We'll talk about the crystals at the end. We'll do the scolasite cutting ceremony. I wanted to give a shout out to this company since we're doing more of this stuff. When I used to do a lot of kind of more mystical things, I was partnering up with this company, or they were sending me stuff for a review. I paid for this, and they're not sponsoring me, but I just want to tell you about them because they were very nice to me, and I really like this product. It's called the Art of the Root Psychic Cleansing Spray, and the company is called Art of the Root. I know they sell on Amazon in the US and in Canada, so go check them out. You just give it a little stir, and then you pump, and it has a citrusy smell, and this clears out. It has a nice refreshing smell that clears out any kind of psychic debris. So when you're doing a lot of intuitive work, you want to create a serene environment around you. You can burn incense, or you can have sprays, or you can do both like me. This incense is the Isis incense, and I'm not sure if I can give the name out of the company, but it is in order to call in the goddess Isis, and in order to stir intuition and provide insight into situations. This incense specifically is designed more towards love. I just simply don't have an intuitive incense that is not geared towards love, so we know what Veroosh is about at the moment. Okay, so why don't we start with the pick card again? Leave comments down below, and if somebody could do time caps of all the different steps, that would be dope, on a rope. So first we have Ulexite, right? People call this now I forget. It's Ulexite. People have a different name for it, the S name. Anyway, so, but this is Ulexite. I have a Ulexite wand. I have a Ulexite lamp over there, which I can't pull out. And this is a really wonderful crystal, and I'll tell you guys about it at the end. This is triphane, which is a form of it's a form of kunzite, and this is one of my favorite crystals because it has such a clearing energy. The clear version of kunzite, which is in the spodumene family, is actually really good for clarity of thought and vision. Also really good with relationships, like how are things between you and other people. The last crystal I have for you guys today is the apophyllite, and this is an amazing crystal. Not only is it just so crystal clear and gives so much clarity to situations, it actually has little downloads on it. So if you want downloads, you want to get apophyllite because it's much cheaper than most crystals, and most likely you will be able to find one quite easily with downloads. Downloads are actually a little bit hard to find, and so if you're wondering what downloads are, it's called, the proper name is record keeper, but I call it downloads and everybody laughs at me, but it's kind of like our fun joke, so it's stuck. But record keepers are little triangles on the faces of a crystal, and so if you put your thumb on them, then they give you downloaded information and give you insight into whatever it is you're wondering about, or maybe this is information that you can use to grow from and expand your consciousness. So apophyllite is very good for clear visioning and clear thinking. So you can choose Ulexite, and then triphane, and apophyllite. So 1, 2, 3, let me know. I'm gonna shift the cards up a little bit. By the way, I didn't explain lapis too well. Lapis is very good for legal matters. Legal matters, and the person who requested this actually has a legal matter that she's wondering about. And so this is for legal matters, especially when injustice is around you. My friend gave me this, or gave me this, and so at a time when not necessarily legal, but I was dealing with like how, you know, a group of people over me in some way, and so this helps to assure that fairness and order and justice is in your favor. We know this as a crystal that is really connected to Egypt, right? Because in Egypt it was used in many kind of royal finishing pieces and jewelry and such, in architecture, and so this is closely tied to authority. Okay, one other crystal I set to the side, I was looking for this and I didn't find it beforehand, is this rutile quartz, and I love this guy. He's so little, he's a little nib, and I can't really show you to the light, but you can see the little brown patches are actually little gold patches within a crystal quartz, and so that's the rhodium, I think. And so this is very good for intuition, and if you are wondering, this is a finer version of this that's what I wear, and this helps to bring clarity of vision, and it really helps, what I find with my mind, it really helps to in some way kind of make you impermeable, or even provide consistency in your psychic work. So hopefully all of this information helps. Maybe the person who's doing time caps can actually say that I talked about the crystals, because I did already. Oh, this is what they call this. They call this selenite, but this is actually Ulexite. Selenite looks different. I do have selenite. But this is sold as selenite, but it's actually another crystal called Ulexite. Both selenite and Ulexite are wonderful for visioning. I love these palm stones, and just a word to the wise, you don't want to put this in water and drink it. You don't want to have it on your skin to the point that you are sweating and absorbing it, because it is a salt. So what it does is that the minerals seep into your skin. So be aware of this one. There are many crystals you shouldn't ingest or wear against your skin because they have properties that can be damaging. Another one that I have on hand is chrysocolla. So anything that's green like this, anything that's green like this can be not in your favor to ingest or have close physical touch with or proximity to. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at your cards. I'm going to save this one. This is the Angel Answers Oracle. So remember, our question today is really, is your intuition right about a situation? So bring into mind whatever it is that you are wondering about, and just kind of bring into consciousness the answers that you want. I have 4 tarot cards and 2 oracle cards, and then I have this bonus one that will give us the final answer. So number ones, here we go. So your first is the 8 of Flames. I'm going to kind of hold back on commenting until we see all of them. The 5 of Orbs. Okay. I felt right away, to be honest. Here I go. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything, and then I say something. So with the 8 of Wands, it feels like there is almost immediately some kind of kind words that are really creating a layer on this situation that makes the situation feel right and okay. There could be people that are reassuring you because it's their job to reassure you. And so below the surface, I feel as though you sense that there is something that's not exactly quite right, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong either. Let's take a look at your next message. Boom. This is a big one for number ones. We have the Last Judgment or Karma. So I feel like this is Pluto, right? And I love the name for this card because it's karma and dharma, to be honest. The Last Judgment, it's both. It's the point between the two. It's the point of intersection. I don't know if you know, but the South Node and the North Node are opposite one another on a chart. So I would say that the Last Judgment is a decision point between those two places, the exact spot between them, on the line between them. Okay, and then finally we have the 3 of Cups. I would say whether to trust your intuition. You have a very deep intuition about this situation. I feel like you see it on a very kind of primal level. I feel like you are in some way really trying to get a grip on bigger things. I think anybody who's giving you advice is only superficial. So sorry that this card kind of disappeared. There we go. 3 of Cups. And anyway, so I feel as though the people who are giving you advice, it's like shopping. You know, when you go shopping and the attendant tells you, oh, you look great, but they're not considering all the different reasons whether or not you should buy something. It's that same or similar type of energy that you're up against here, that it may not be for a bad reason, but I do feel as though there is a energy that is pulling you away from the truth because of the nature of who you are asking. It's not their place to really understand it so deep. I think on a deeper level, you are contending with questions about whether something's right and wrong. It's a deeply karmic answer. So essentially, whatever answer you come to conclusion about, whatever you decide will be the right path. This to me seems as though there will be other people that are trying to confuse you in this situation. These are oracle cards, the sacred geometry, and I'm not reading these based on the book. So this is the Heart Woman, a message from the heart, and then we have the Fruit of Life. Okay, so I feel this is really clearly telling me that the answer is within you, that no matter what you choose in this situation, it will feel as though it's wrong. It will feel because there are people superficially who are reinforcing the wrong decision, but then there's also people who are haphazardly throwing energy around, and in some way you have to put up with that from them. Here is the next message. Yes, okay. So I feel like you have to trust your instinct. I always think that you need to trust your instinct, but on this matter, I would say that yes, it is. I understand the mechanics of this, and this was a request reading. I like to do stuff for people who really support the channel or are moderators and stuff, so I let you guys pick questions and whatever. So essentially, if you were my client and we were talking one-on-one, I would coach you through the process of accepting your own intuition. However, it's a very hard process because you have to learn to discern the different levels of how your intuition works. And so essentially you are always right. That path between the south node and north node is always correct. However, I think that we do have to learn to listen to ourselves and derive the right conclusions. But the fact that you're doubting your intuition, the fact that you feel there's something underneath the surface, I think is really on point. So I hope this crystal helps you, this beautiful ulexite. And the first time I showed it, it wasn't showing up great, but do you see how pretty it is? And you can just give it a little swipe here and a little bit of Reiki there. It's just so full of magic, right? So this is very, very good for intuition. You can use it as a palm stone, just don't like sleep with it. You know, some people go ham. Don't stick it in your bra. Somebody said that in a comment. I'm like, I stick stuff in my bra too sometimes a crystal here and there. Hey girl, hey. So it was cute. I was like, I'm not the only one, but don't put this in your bra. It's not going to be good for your health, okay? But yeah, I feel like your intuition number ones is right, and I feel like anybody who is superficially giving you advice about it, they're not doing it from a bad place. They're just simply, you know, sometimes what are you supposed to say? It's a way of being nice. It's a way of social constructs. It's definitely not motivated by any kind of selfishness. That Three of Cups I'd be careful about. So if anybody's influencing you in this situation who has money or who has some kind of stake in it all, then I would say be very careful about that situation. But other than that, you are good to go, my friend. Okay, so next, if you chose number 2, so this is a Triaphane from the spodumene family, and this is like super nerdy talk. That's why I'm emphasizing it. But this is a type of kunzite, and kunzite's my favorite crystal, hands down. I'll show you my favorite one that I have here. I don't know, I think this one's my favorite, but they have different qualities. So kunzite, typically you can't really see it here because I'm kind of pink, but this is but this is pink lavender, and I love this piece because it's so clear. And so yeah, it's just really lovely. And yeah, it's a really nice crystal. They wear in jewelry. It's worth quite a bit, and it's quite nice. So no, I really love this crystal. It brings a lot of happiness and joy. This crystal in pink and purple means a lot of self-love and healing, whereas in this has a lot to do with like self-understanding, actually activating your intuition to a healthy level, all of that stuff. And whenever I read for you guys, when I'm really, really tired, this is the one that I grip. And if you see here, which you probably won't tell, it has little blue tourmaline growing out of it. But you won't be able to tell because this computer can't autofocus. Hey girl, hey. We'll get back the other one soon, so I'm not going to even complain. It's getting fixed. So okay, so number 2, let's find out if your intuition is right about something. It can be anything that you have in mind. Your first card is the 9 of Flames. You've taken a kind of time out on the situation. You've had some time to think about it. You've pulled yourself out of this situation, and now you are wondering if you may have removed yourself too far. So you know, like cabin fever, when people don't go out too much and they start acting kind of funny because they're like in their room all the time. I'm just kidding, but kind of true. But when they're kind of separated from the outside world, and so it shifts their point of focus a little bit. I feel like the 9 of Flames could be affecting you to that effect a little bit. Then we have Guidance, the 5. This is the Hierophant. I love this card so much. It's one of my favorite cards in this deck. When I first saw this deck, I kind of laughed because like things like this to me are cheesy, or they were cheesy. Like, you know, a picture of a dude with a torch and he's got like this weird bandana. Like, I thought it was such a funny deck. But now I've really grown to like it. It has a really nice vibe. It's the Starseed Tarot, but this one's really beautiful. This is the learning that you've achieved at university, or the teacher that had come in and taught you something. This can also be concerning the sign of Taurus. So a Taurus may have come in and given you some kind of instruction or information. This can also be divine guidance. So divine guidance from a higher authority, from an angel, from a spirit guide, from the universe, from a bird. But whatever source, I think that the universe is speaking to you about this matter, the Five of Flames. You're having a hard time accepting what you're learning. And this is a big thing with intuition. If we truly step into our intuitive moment and listen to ourselves immediately, then I think that we would cut out a lot of hurt and toil if we actually listen to our hearts. Like, so if somebody contacts you and you are like in some way on the fence about it, and you feel a certain type of way, and you know that there is something sinister, if the devil keeps coming up whenever you that person is around, then suddenly you have this kind of it's up to you to recognize that. And oftentimes it's like getting a hold of your intuition and grabbing it firmly so that your desire does not like shoot you off in a different direction, because desire can be very dangerous. I know I say desire is your magic, and it definitely is, but you have to use it wisely. And your intuition is like the brakes on things sometimes, or sometimes it's the gas pedal. Here is the next message. We have the Tower. So I feel as though hesitating on this situation may cause a breakdown of it further. This may be something that is taken out of your influence. So you may not have the opportunity to make a decision about things because they will be made for you. Here are two cards. So we have Elemental Embrace. So this is ascension and the progress, the transmutation of elements from one state into another. This is also the support of the elements as you ascend towards a goal out of the difficulties of the past. And then Fire Keepers. So I feel as though there are definitely spirits with you trying to help you and navigate this situation. I do think something is coming through that will take your choice making out of the matter, something that you will have to accept. It will be external. I think you've separated yourself well and things have gone well, but there will be an imposition on you at this point that I don't think that you should stress about your intuition. You should be wondering what it is that is going to change, that is going to make your intuition sort of irrelevant. So whatever you do in this situation might actually change. However, the process that you go up to this point to is a lot of learning about what's right and what's wrong. And I don't feel like this sudden change and shift is going to be completely destructive. For some of you, it may change the playing field somewhat. And I feel like your apprehension or your worry in some way coincides with the fact that you sense that it's coming. You sense that there will be a shift and a movement. On the bottom you have no. So I feel like maybe you need to really take a grasp of what you are perceiving. And so this is saying that I really feel that this is out of your hands in some way. This is something that you need to abide by. So there was a message about Pluto I heard maybe 3 years ago, and it was all about, I live under Pluto and Mars, so I get a lot of channeled messages about those planets, and they're ascending under, and they're conjunct in my chart in Libra. So I have like this really powerful transit of Pluto and Mars, and I get a lot of messages about Pluto. It's my ruler. I'm a Scorpio rising, and so with that, the message was that you basically have to go along the agenda of Pluto, that you can't necessarily dictate even when it comes to losses and wins, that you just really have to sit by and allow some of the larger systems to move through. It's like an ant, sitting by on the side of a road while a herd of elephants walks by. The ant does not necessarily have the capacity to steer and influence a herd of elephants, and you just have to allow those elephants to roll through. And I feel like this is the type of situation. As much as you'd like to cross the road and be the ant and cross the road, I think that the forces are such that you have to accede to bigger factors that you may not have a control over. And some of these things will be satisfying. They will keep you in the same place the channeled message is forever, but I think that that's just Lilith talking through me because she's in Aquarius. So don't worry about that. But I feel like some of these energies are going to keep you in one type of circumstance for a long time, and then there's aspects that will force you to change, or will really put the energy behind change, and will make transformations. And I think that these are larger patterns. I feel like you've kind of known this all along, but it's again this principle of accepting the learning that you've been receiving. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. That was an intense one, especially whenever the tower's up like that. It's pretty intense. But this this crystal, spodumene or tryphane, is very good with accepting things and tolerance within the heart and seeing the larger perspective. Okay, number 3, let's take a look. We have apophyllite, right? So I told you guys apophyllite is one of my favorite crystals because it has so many downloads in it. It's just so shiny. And then large apophyllite kind of clusters, they have like thousands of these or hundreds of these. Let's not get carried away. And each one is just so sparkly. You can kind of look them up online. They're usually very, very expensive though. So anyway, heads up to anyone who has it, or high five to anyone who has one. Number 3s, let's see what you guys got. So your first card is the 4 of Orbs. So basically it's advising you not to think about the situation. You need rest from it. You need to think about something else. So you need to practice no mind. And no mind means that you're not thinking about anything, that you have this kind of it's a type of meditation that is associated with releasing attachment to any thought process or emotion. So this 4 of Orbs is you it's recommending very clearly that you should not be thinking too deeply. And then we have the Alchemy. This is Sagittarius card, but this also coincides with blending water and fire together. And I feel as though this is a very organic process, a creative process that needs to happen. So I think this is saying that in terms of intuition, the point is to go through the motions and let your subconscious, the intuitive subconscious, lead the way, not so much your subconscious, or not so much your intuition with your consciousness interacting, but more the subconscious. And when you let go and when you embrace it, a new relationship forms for you, a new friendship. And then the oncoming energy is the 4 of Chalices. An offer will be made to you that will help you clarify. So I feel like this is probably the most relationship-like thing. And so if you were asking about intuition about a relationship, I think that you should really stop thinking about this relationship as soon as possible and allow it to kind of manifest in your life in the manner to grow naturally, right? When you're growing, when you're a kid, I mean, people do look at their legs and stuff when they're growing, like, am I growing yet? And growing pains, do you guys remember those? Those were terrible. I'm 5'11", so those were like a big issue for me. I had a lot of lower back pain and leg pain, knee pain, that kind of stuff. So don't miss that at all. But I feel like there is this kind of, if you look at something, it's like watching water boil, you know. It can be monotonous, tedious, and it may make it seem as though it's taking forever. So here's your message. So spiraling into love, allowing the energy just to come forward, and then new beginnings. Ooh, girl, this is your intuition's on fire here. Your relationship's on fire if you chose 3. Big happy changes. Things are improving in a better direction, and I feel as though emancipation from sad and alienating times is gone. I think you're set to be free. I like this card because here it's not such a negative 4 of Cups. There's no boredom here. There's only wonder and amazement at the fact that something new has come through for you. So open your heart and welcome in this energy. I think it will bring you more than you ever thought. And I think that it's a good step for you in the right direction. So whatever it is that you're feeling intuitive about, it feels really on point and really strong. So I hope these were helpful. And as promised, I kind of did the crystals already, so we don't have to cover it a second time. But I thought that maybe if you guys need separation from a thought or an idea, or with regard to a legal matter, in which case you feel as though you are having to contend with the energy of this, why don't we run this through again? This is scolecite. It's extremely powerful crystal. If you are not ready to separate and disconnect from relationships that are not serving you, then don't watch this. Sometimes we just have to pick our time. So if you're leaving, bye. I'll see you later. Check out my other readings on YouTube. It's hashtag pick a card Veroosh or Veroosh pick a card. They're down below. Also, all your monthly videos are out now on YouTube and Vimeo. Okay. Thanks. I just wanted to say bye to everyone who was leaving. For those of you guys who stayed, you brave souls, why don't we turn off the music and we'll just give a little crystal music. Oh, I offered you guys, oh, I forgot this. Well, if they left, too bad for them, because I'm going to, in some way, I have this, which is a pendulum. I actually have a different one, but this is my new one. Isn't it pretty? And so I promised you guys the pendulum talk. So whoever's doing time caps, do a pendulum time cap for now, please. So one thing we can do is show you how to use a pendulum. And you can create a pendulum even at home using some string and a button or anything else, really. Any kind of weight. This is crystal, because I have a whole set of platonic solids crystals just like this. And then I found this one and it's super cute. So this is my new pendulum. It's really nice. And so all you do is you can hold one hand underneath it. This ring is a bit big on that finger, sorry. So you can hold one finger and then you hold the other fingers up and then you put a question in your mind and then I know what my direction is. Everybody has a slightly different direction. So you ask the pendulum, what is yes and what is no? So what is yes? And it'll go right away. Do you see how it changes? Okay, and it does it every single time this way for me. And what is no? So I know what my directions are. They're always like this, but everybody has a different, you know, directional kind of place. And so when you're asking yourself about intuitive questions and you're not really familiar with cards or astrology, it's a really good type of divination practice just to use a pendulum. And so I have a question in my mind. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. Oh, that's I don't know. When it goes around in a circle like this, it says I don't know. So if you don't have an actual crystal pendulum like this, crystal pendulum, then you can use a button with a string. I'm going to be making these again soon. I used to make these, not these ones, but I have my own pendulums, and I'll let you guys know when they're available. Maybe I'll put a link down below when they are, maybe in the fall, so it won't be any time soon. Of course, this reading is for any time. So I'll do a crystal pendulum for 1, 2, and 3 if you guys are interested, since we're on the topic. So if you can do time caps again. So let's just put it over the selenite. You can put it over a crystal as well. So I'm asking if number 1, if the intuition is right. So this is yes, by the way. You probably didn't know that because I don't even say it, because I've been doing this since I was a teenager. So there's yes. And you can do this yourself also over a reading or in front of a reading. So yes, number 1, the intuition is right. And I think that this is going to be no because it said no. So is the intuition right in the second situation? There it goes right away. No. Right? Okay. And then finally, the number 3, is the intuition right in the third situation? Over the apophyllite, that's like a double whammy. You can also hold the cards in your hand. Saying kind of around. I don't think that this, yes. Yes. When I said kind of around, it said yes, that's what it is. Basically, what I'm feeding it mentally into this question is this person, I don't think this person really, whoever chose 3, I don't think you know how good of a situation you're stepping into. So I think you sense it's a good situation, but I think humility is holding you back from really understanding how good of a circumstance you're in. So, you know, high five to that. Good for you. Good for you. That's what you need. You found yourself a prince. There you go. Number 3s. There you go. I got you. Okay, so now this is for the serious part. So, like I said before, we can start again with the time caps for this. This is scolecite, and this cuts people and situations out of your life that need to be cut out in order to create a new opportunity for growth and ascension and progress in whatever it is that you are going. This is about cutting those cords that are tying you to others. So I'm going to pass this crystal across the screen 3 times, and what you need to do is either leave right now if you haven't left already, or sit with me and put into your mind the person or the situation that you want to cut out of your life, and this crystal will help you do that. You can watch this video or this part many times, so it's not like a one-time thing and then it's gone. So I hope it helps you, but use it wisely, because once this is like once it cuts, it's gone, right? So there you go. Okay, ready? Don't do it angry. Okay, just leave if you're doing it angry. Allow the anger to pass. So here's 1, and here's 2, and 3. So most likely this will take time for this to seep in. Sometimes it will be immediate. Maybe you'll never get a text message or a phone call again about the situation or matter. I hope whatever you were asking about you find clarity on. I hope you find a good resolution. I wish you all the best of luck. Take care, and thank you for watching. Bye.